Okay, to start your basic special makeup, you first, to make a dead character, so a character playing somebody's dead, like a ghost or such, or zombie, you start by graying out their face using a gray foundation. I'm using CL26 gray. It's by Ben Nye. You start by taking that, and you can use your fingers or just something like a cotton ball, but I just use my fingers. You get it on your fingers, and you go up to your person's face, you need to cover all the skin that's going to be showing in the costume that they're wearing. So in this case, it will just be around his neck, but I'm not going to do that for this purpose. Try to get the best you can, but if you don't get all of it, it's fine, because your audience is most likely going to be fairly far away. Now if you're doing this for like a movie or something, you want to be more detailed. Make sure you get the corners of the mouth. Have them open their mouth up wide. And get around. Alright, and that gives kind of like a darker color. You want to try to get up in their hairline more and blend it in, but that's the basic coloring that you need. And now you start with the darker color for the eyes, around the eyes. This time I'm using a coal color by Ben Nye as well. They're all cream based makeups. You get a small amount of it on your finger. You get some of that on your fingers like that, and you need to wipe it off, get it a little less dark. Not like that. And then you go and have them close their eyes. Try to get a little outside the eye there. Yeah. Alright, and get the darker eye color now. They look like they've got a hollowed out eye. Try to get it deeper in the corner of the nose. And it hollows it out, makes the face look skinnier. Alright, and you get the other eye. Alright, that's all I'm going to do for that. If you want, you can also take and darken in the temples. Now hollow the face out more. I'm not going to do it here. And then you can take, and you can only get more of the light color. And just get a little bit, not too much. And lighten it up on your hand. Right on. And then take and go down the center of the nose and get that a little lighter in color. You would generally, after this step, take and put a translucent powder over. I have none on hand, so I can't do that. But you would normally do that. And then now start, if you want to do scars or cuts or something such as that on them, you start with your nose and scar putty or mortician's putty, and it's basically just like a wax. And you take a tool, I'm using a plastic clay carving tool, and you get a small amount of your putty on this spoon, or your spatula, whichever you're using, and you get it in your hand, you kind of work it a little bit, and then you roll it into the shape you want. In this case, I'm just going to do a small cut. To do like making a snake when you were little in kindergarten, you always make little toys with your clay, little Play-Doh. You make a small, hang them up the length you want your cut to be, or whichever you're making. You could just be a scar. Roll that out, And it doesn't matter if it gets kind of gray, because you gotta go over it anyways, because if your character's got a gray look, his skin's gonna have a gray look too as well on the putty. So in this case, you take and you look and you slice it up to where you want it to be. Alright. And you take and you put it on their head. I'm going to do just on this forehead here. And you smear out and feather the edges down to where they're about blended with the skin. You can't really get it perfect, but you'll cover that up with makeup later. And then you take some sort of a device you can either use the same thing you use to pull the putty out with, or in my case I'm using a little credit card thing. You take and you slice it down where you want it to be, that, and then you can pull the edges back. Try to use black first. You stick the end in the black and you get it covered in the black makeup. And you go in, and you darken the inside of the cut. Okay, you go into your red. And you do the same. This time I'm going to take and lightly, not too much, use another Q-tip except for this time and leave all the fuzz on, and take your light gray again, just get a little bit of it on the thing, your Q-tip, and then slightly go over the edges of your putty with this Q-tip. As long as we covered the blood in the end. Of course it's not real blood, it's fake blood, but you have two choices between blood. You have the thick blood, which is like a newer blood, and it's darker in color, looks more like it just recently happened. And you have the fresh scab, which is like a scab that's just coming in, which means it's slightly old. And that's what I'm going to use in this case, because he's already dead. Probably more brain dead than really dead, but in this case, I'm going to take the fresh scab, and you take your putty knife. This time I'm using the opposite end of it. You can really use anything here that's kind of small and slender. You can scoop the stuff up in and use it in. So I'm going to take a little bit of the blood, mix it a little bit in the container. Looking too skinny at the top. You get a little bit on your thing. You go in and take it and put it in the cut like that. And you look at what the physics would kind of do, and in this case the blood would kind of dump down like that. And then you can also add blood coming out of the nose, ears, mouth, whichever you want. In this case, I think I'm going to do slide them out of the bloody nose, get it slightly up in the nostrils. It may feel weird, so you want to warn them before you do it. That's the basics for a cut and a bloody nose. If you can see the bloody nose on camera, I'll try to zoom in a little bit.